Back again, back again.
Here we are.
So,
Another
guys, you know
episode.
the drill already. You know the drill. We're on all streaming podcasting platforms. We are on Instagram, and that's all you need to know. So let's go. Right. So I can't remember when I sent this. I can't remember when I sent this to you. This video. Was it this week
Uh,
or was it last week?
from what I recall, I think it was one, two. I think it was about 3 weeks ago. Already.
Wow.
Like 3 weeks
Wow.
ago. Time really flying.
Wow. I lost track of time, yes? So
Hmm.
yeah, so 3 weeks ago, I sent this 3 weeks ago, and the reason why I sent it is because it reminded me of like a lot of the things that we experienced too, and I think it's something that we have to talk about because as men, we like to lead with ego.
Correct.
We like to feel good about ourselves, even though the reality might not be that. You know,
And not only that, but as young men, and transitioning from young men to getting
less
wiser.
young.
Or, I specifically said the term getting wiser.
Yeah,
Um, is something that we heard growing up, but we've not experienced it before.
yeah,
And some things are just like that. Sometimes you hear things without knowing the full scope of it and experiencing it yourself. And then when it's your turn, or you come to the realization that time is quickly going by, as is in the case of the video, um, things are coming up, things are creeping up, and you're starting to get closer and closer to a certain age, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
obviously certain things go along with that. So, um, yeah, it's uh, all part of the learning experience of life.
For real, for real, for real. All right, so this video is a conversation between Chris Williamson, who is a YouTuber and podcaster, and Jocko Willink, who is a former Navy SEAL, and they're talking about what should men do when they're getting old and they realize that they're getting older. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and this is going to be the discussion for today.
Advice to men that are getting older and becoming chronically aware of that?
Yeah, lift weights, do jiu-jitsu, go for runs, stretch out, eat good, stop drinking. It's pretty straightforward. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Every day that you don't do work, you're going backwards, and it definitely will hurt you, and it'll show up. You can't get away with what you got away with when you were 23. It doesn't work. You have to stay ahead of it.
Do you have any advice?
So yeah,
Man, touch on some important points, some very good points.
it sounds easier, but it's hard.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
difficult. It's very difficult.
So one of the first points that stood out to me that he spoke about, right, was this is for men who are chronically aware that they are getting older. And the reason why that touched me and spoke to me most or first and foremost, I should say, is because how many guys we know who are either older than us or our age who are stuck in the past. They are stuck in what seems to be, how to put it, uh, children in adult bodies,
Yeah.
you know?
They never learn essentially.
Correct. They never grow
Yeah.
up. You know, they still have this old mindset, a childlike mindset, you know, that things should be the way they are, and sorry, things are not the way they are, but how they want them to be. And if things don't go their way, it's like whatever, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's some, like as you mentioned, chronic. Like they they know they're getting older. They are aware of the fact that they're getting older, but they do absolutely nothing about it. But they keep talking about it.
Correct,
Boy, I'm getting older, boy, I'm getting older.
correct.
Gosh, boy, time flying. I have to do
Mhm.
something with my life. And then they open the next beer.
Correct. So what goes hand in hand with that is what the guy said about the things that he used to do at 23. You,
Yeah,
could-
yeah,
you can't get away with those things anymore
yeah,
because apart from getting older, you and I both know the older we get, I mean, is your body goes through changes as well. And as you had mentioned, if you crack open another beer and you just keep on doing the same thing over and over because you feel that's what you want to do, and you're not working out, you're not actively putting in work, then it's going to show, as the guy said, on your body because your body naturally slows down, your metabolism slows down the older you get, and both of us very well know how hard it is to throw off the weight the older you
yeah,
get.
yeah. And it not only shows up on your body, it shows up in your life.
Correct,
Because the things that he mentioned, while they are physical things, it flows over into the psychological aspect of yourself.
correct. So what
Because
happens?
all of these things they're talking about, all of the things that he spoke about, every single one of them has to do with discipline.
Correct. That's a very important point. Very important point because on the topic of the bear, something as simple as that, you tend to fall into a habit of doing this over and over and over again, especially if you don't have the discipline. And what is going to happen is that one, alcohol consumption takes away your money
Yeah,
unnecessarily that you
definitely.
could be used to put to something else that's productive, to invest in a business or for the betterment of yourself, as well as it takes away time in a
Yeah,
negative capacity because I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want just one day and you just
no,
want to keep on doing it over and over and over again. So that's time and money going down the drain.
yeah. You're right. Like when people go for a beer, they tend to drink on average a six pack, some more.
Correct?
And you're not doing this at home, you're going to a bar to do it. So that six pack you might finish over the course of 2 to 3 hours because you're hanging out, or as we say, liming. And the time going by, you're talking about nothing productive really. And then when you finish, you go home and you probably fall asleep, or you watch some movie or something, and the day's over. You did nothing for you. You might have gone to work, but it did nothing for you, really.
Sure.
Because you might think when you go to work, you're doing something for you. Not really. Like you're doing things for the people that hire you, whether it's a governmental organization or it's a private company. You're doing that work that you're doing is not for your benefit, it's for the owner's benefit or the shareholders' benefit. Because when you think about it, whatever profit that company is making, your salary is not even 1% of the net profit. Like, as a matter of fact, your salary is an expense to them. If they could find a way to not spend that money in paying you, they'll get rid of you in a heartbeat.
Yep.
So that's something that all of us have to think about. And him talking about those things, it kind of reminded me of like the decisions that we made, let's say 5 years ago. To okay, let's hit the gym. Like we're still in our 20s, but we was like, okay, let's hit the gym because like yeah, I was already practicing martial arts and whatever, but you still want to have that extra. You still want to do that extra because that extra is going to um, make you more efficient in your martial art or more efficient in your job or more efficient in whatever side hustle that you're doing.
Yeah, it's a practical sense.
Yeah. So it's not just about looking good or and again, like I always talk about functional training. Again, functional training. When people hear me or anybody who mentions that phrase functional training, they think like we're trying to um like make fun of or poke at people who just use machines and just lift weights for no reason. No, it's not that. It's like functional training is practiced to be able to for your body to move in its full range of motion. So that when you get into your late 40s and early 50s and 60s and 70s and so on, you would have used most of your body so it will still be functional and give you what you ask it to give you,
Correct.
as opposed to the good old saying, I remember when I used to do that when I was younger, boy. I don't want to ever say that.
Same. And not to mention muscle memory.
Yeah.
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory, health, like the overall health of your body, going to the gym. It
Correct.
it, it transitions into your body now having to adapt to controlled stress. So it's going to help with improving your immune system. It's going to help with a lot of the different biochemical pathways. It's going to help with the way in which you metabolize food. It's going to help with so many things, right? Gym. Well, he said jujitsu, but I would say martial arts in
Martial
general,
arts.
right? He does jujitsu. That's why he said jujitsu. But gym, martial arts, going for a run, stretching, eating right,
Hmm.
stop drinking. You don't have to stop drinking, but understand that there's some self control that is needed when you're drinking.
Yeah, correct. Because like the the point where he was talking about with discipline on the whole, right?
Mhm.
And diet, etc. Like these things, as you know, we have things called the lifestyle diseases now. And those lifestyle diseases are based off a sedentary lifestyle. So when you are not active, when you are well, quote unquote lazy, and you just come home from work again, as you had mentioned, working for other people and not for yourself, or not doing things for yourself, and basically not having that drive, that discipline, that um, what is your why? You know, you tend to fall into that type of lifestyle. I mean, I'm not knocking the people who are there, but just trying to encourage those that are there who actively want to do something about it,
Mm.
to actually pick up themselves and use this as, I don't want to say motivation, but motivation.
Mm.
At the same time, to say, well, okay, if you're fed up with your situation and you seriously want to get out of it, and you are aware clearly of your situation, then definitely do something about it. And it's not just all about talk. Just saying that you want to do something is not going to elevate you from the situation.
Mm. I would
Because
also, I would also, I would also make this point as well. This is agreeing with you, but also adding the fact that it's not entirely our fault in the
mhm,
sense that society has created an environment that makes it conducive to be lazy.
right.
Like, it's easy to be lazy in this society.
Yeah. What's the phrase? We live in an instant society.
Like, food is readily available. Yeah, we live in an instant society. Food is readily available. Like, you just go through a drive-through. Like, this is when I realized, like, society has become like it's encouraging you to be lazy. When I saw that Starbucks has a drive-through, like you have a drive-through for coffee,
Coffee.
and you know what makes it worse? You know what makes it worse? And I've seen this on many. I've never used Starbucks drive-through, but I've seen this on many occasions. Every time I'm walking into Starbucks. There's a traffic jam in Starbucks drive-through,
And not just any
right?
one particular Starbucks, all of them.
All the Starbucks, right? There's a traffic jam in the drive-through. And when you walk inside, there's nobody inside. All you simply have to do is just park up,
And walk
walk
inside.
inside, get
Get your
your
coffee.
coffee or your chill or your frappuccino or whatever you're going to get. Walk back outside, jump in the car and leave. It's not even going to take you 10 minutes.
Hmm.
But you prefer to sit 20 minutes in a drive-through
In traffic.
in traffic to get your flat white and then leave.
Or your hot chocolate, yeah?
Or your hot chocolate. Like, come on, right? And then you have to add in the fact that the majority of us work for 9 to 12 hours on a daily basis. When you finish that, it takes a lot of willpower to go to the gym.
Correct. Not to mention, well, to add to your point, traffic in the morning and in the evening.
Yeah,
The
so
commute.
you spend about 3 to 4 hours in traffic daily. You work 8 to 12 hours on top of that. So now
Not
to get the willpower to go to the gym, the majority of us are going to go home. We're going to sit or lie on our couches or on our beds, eat half a tub of ice cream, and then go and sleep.
correct.
It takes a lot of willpower to not do that
While scrolling through.
while scrolling through the socials.
Yeah, yes.
It takes a lot of willpower to not do that. And as men, we have to find that willpower. We have to dig deep inside of ourselves to find that willpower because nobody feels sorry for men.
Yeah.
That is the reality. This is not me spewing doom and gloom. It is the reality. The majority of homeless people are men. Do you see people going to homeless men and saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe this has happened to you. How this happened? Let me help you get back on your feet." No. Society would more likely save a young woman from the homeless path than a young man. And rightfully so. And why I say rightfully so? Women propagate the species.
Mm.
Women propagate the species. Like it's just ingrained in us. It's just part of our circuitry. We may not know why we do it that way, but that is the reason why women propagate the species. Right? And we have to understand as men that in order for us to be in order for us to live the lives that we want to live, we have to find the discipline to show up every day for ourselves. Not for anybody else, but to show up every day for ourselves. Some of you guys might be in your 20s, like early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, whatever, you're in your 20s, and you might think that you have all the time in the world.
Time.
But I was 20, 14 years ago.
Correct.
And I don't know where the time went. I can't remember even half of those 14 years.
Very true.
I can't give you significant moments in each year of those 14 years.
So
Maybe I could give you for half of them, but not for all of them.
so when I looked at this video, right, when you sent it to me as well, um you see the point where he made about 23?
Yeah.
The things you can't do at you can't do what you did at 23 anymore. That same point that you just made there, I was trying to think about what did I do in 20 when I was 23. Like,
23, exactly. I can't remember a thing I
I
did.
was like,
What was I doing at 23, to be honest?
that was 12 years ago. And it's like what I do remember, apart from the time flying, is that I did nothing productive. Let's put it that way.
Facts.
All I remember is that I was staying up late at night, gaming, and losing plenty sleep. That's what I remember.
I remember I was running down gear. I was chasing after one girl or two girls, whatever it was. Wasting time, you wasting time.
Correct, correct. And then I had now started to work. I didn't have no sense of responsibility. So you know what happened with the money that you
Oh
now get?
gosh. Oh gosh,
It's
and
like
the money nice.
the money
So
nice. You never get out
yeah,
in your life. Like
yeah, yeah.
you don't know what to do with it. I remember my dad always telling me, when you get the money, save it. Me? Save what?
Save. What name save?
What name save? I buy a new gaming laptop, you know, all kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And all as you say, you don't know where the time gone. If
Mm-hmm.
you're not in your 30s and you
Yeah.
have nothing to show
Mm-mm.
for those years. You don't even as just, look what happening to us now. We don't know where the years went. We can't say specifically what happened in any one particular year.
Yeah. And that is to show you a perfect example of something that we spoke about probably last year, where we said, we sleepwalk through life. the whole nursery rhyme, row, row, row your boat
Mm,
gently down the stream. Like that is essentially how we handle life. Like we just allow the currents of time to just take us, and we're not
go with the
doing
flow.
anything. Like we're not actually guiding the boat that we in. We just go in.
Correct.
And then there are some people who actually intentional about their life.
As Morgan Freeman said, Captain of your soul.
Yeah. Well, he just repeat somebody thing, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
essentially.
Yeah,
But yeah, like you have to be the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Have to be. Because if you're not, you'll be 50. You haven't done anything. You're working in the same job that you said you hated 20 years ago. You're still in that same job.
if not,
Probably maybe one position higher because they don't like to promote. They don't like to give raises anymore.
correct. And that position was only $200 more than what he was
That,
making in previous one.
that you're going to get taxed on.
Correct.
That $200 going in taxes. So
Correct.
essentially, you're still in the same place for the past 20 years. And you're still complaining. And you have body pains because you never took your health seriously.
Hmm. As well as other disease.
The probably the onset of some lifestyle disease, whether it be pre-diabetic or you're pre-hypertensive or you're pre something else.
Yep. Not to mention possibly alcoholic as well.
Probably because you might have messed up a few relationships. You
Yeah.
had somebody good and you allow your ego to get the better of
That's
you, and that person go on and now you have regrets. They can't have regrets in life.
yeah. And every Friday, yeah, by the bar. Friday afternoon after work.
Yeah. So if you're in your 20s and that is how your life is right now, I would strongly suggest you just take a look at yourself. We've been saying it from the start of the podcast. Go in the mirror and look at yourself. How I used to say it, I can't remember. I can't remember how I used to say it. How is it? You look at yourself without how-
Defense.
without defense. Right. You can't be defensive when you're being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Like it can't be. It's not going to serve the purpose of being honest with yourself and looking yourself in the mirror. So you have to be defenseless when you're telling yourself the truth.
Correct.
You
And
can't say, "Yeah, I just drink plenty alcohol, but I do really drink it all the time. So I was only drink it like 4 times a week." That's too much.
it has 7 days in the week and you get
It has
report.
7 days in the week and you're drinking more than half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a big belly, but it ain't as big as somebody else. We're not talking about anybody else here. We're talking about you, right? Somebody else could have a big belly and still healthier than you, who's skinny fat.
You know, that's a very important point there. Because plenty of people fail to realize that. Just because it's skinny, they figure that, or they're slim
Yeah,
in some cases, like, yeah, they figure they're good.
yeah.
But
It's,
you
it's not
don't
about it's not about weight. It's not about weight. It's about body composition. If the majority of your body is fat,
Hmm.
then chances are you may not be that healthy.
But to add to the point um, that we made about looking at yourself in the mirror defenselessly, um, for the guys in the 20s, I would also add that it is better to make the difficult decisions upfront. It's better to get it out of the way so that afterwards things will more than likely tend to be smoother.
Mm. It's better you say in your 50s, boy, it's a good thing I make that decision in my 20s. Than to say, boy, I should have made that decision in my 20s, you know?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, it's always better to try and fail than fail to try. Like, it's cliche, but it's true. Like, it's better to try and fail
and to
than
fail to
fail to
try.
try.
Hmm.
Because most people tend to regret the things that they didn't do rather than the things that they did.
Correct. And as that guy said as well, like if you are chronically aware that you're getting older, which means that it hitting home, you know that you're getting
Mhm.
older, and it's always on your mind, then only then would it be straightforward to make those adjustments.
Mhm. Yeah.
If
And
it's not on your mind, then it wouldn't be straightforward because you're not thinking about it.
mhm, true. And I would add that if it's on your mind, one of the things that I did, I started journaling
Hmm.
because you'd be surprised how powerful writing is. Like writing, I don't know, it creates some kind of neural pathway to force you into remembering.
Very true.
And if you write down things like that, you're not only going to remember, you're going to feel a how. You're going to feel down. You might feel guilty. You might feel slightly embarrassed. You might feel ashamed. And it's just you. It's just you and this book that you just wrote something about yourself down in. And you read it over and it's like, wait. Because it happened to me. It happened to me like writing down, like asking yourself certain questions. Am I happy with where I am in life? No. Why am I not happy? Because so and so and so and so. You have anything planned to change that? No. Why not? I don't know.
Hmm.
You intend on making a plan to change your life? I want to. Okay, what you're going to do about it? You have to figure it out. Like you have to wrestle with yourself.
Yeah. So that piece of paper, because you told me about journaling as well, and it was, yeah, which reminds me I need to start back again. And in my experience, that simple piece of paper with lines or without lines, depending on your journal, um, becomes a mirror.
Yeah,
Becomes a mirror
it does. It does.
where you
It does.
see yourself truthfully.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hmm. And you can't hide. You shouldn't
No.
hide.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't hide from yourself.
Hmm.
You shouldn't hide from yourself. And it's going to be tough, you know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
You know, like I mentioned a lot that, oh, like it's not entirely our fault and so on. But we also have to stop blaming the fact that these things have happened to us, and we are in this situation on the system.
Right.
Like, yes, the system is the way it is. Nobody is arguing that. Like, it's true. However, we can't continue to pass blame and do nothing. It's not like if the system going to say, "Oh, he tried to elevate. Let me stop him."
Yeah.
No, it's not doing that. What it's done is allowed you to be comfortable wallowing in your misery. That's all it's done. It's allow you to be comfortable wallowing in your misery.
Hmm. Yeah. So you owe it
And
to yourself to have a responsibility to change that.
yeah, yeah. And another thing is like a lot of men in our age group, the millennials and the ones after, they tend to throw around one word or two words, I should say, very loosely, assuming that it's just going to come. One is king, and two is boss.
Hmm.
Like everybody wants to be a king, everybody wants to be a boss, but nobody wants to do the things that are required of those
Titles.
titles.
Yeah. The responsibility and the weight of those
Yeah,
titles.
because
Hey,
like
heavy is the head that wears the crown, huh?
yeah, and I wrote something down. It's a good thing. I have like two journals, so this is my creativity one, and um, I wrote this down on the 29th of January this year. It says, "We came to Earth to serve, not to be served. The greatest kings this planet has ever seen were also the greatest servants. It was the self-righteous, narcissistic king who destroyed their kingdoms. To be a great king, be a great servant."
Hmm.
People think that being a king is just sitting down on some big chair and being served grapes and honey and have like three, four girls by your side and everybody else working for you. No.
Hmm.
Right? All of these things that Jocko and Chris discussed. Going to the gym, doing a martial art, going for a run, eating right, stop drinking. That doesn't only help you in, that helps your family, that helps your circle. Right? It not only gets you to a particular level, it motivates them to be better. It holds them to a higher standard.
Correct.
And when you decide that you're going to take that discipline and transition that discipline into something else, whether it be a business or whatever career choice that you decide to make, whether you decide to be an engineer or a lawyer, you're going to try to be the best version of that you could be.
Hmm.
And your motives for it is not self-centered, because serving doesn't necessarily mean, okay, I am going to just do everything for people. No, that's not what it is. Is you are giving your skill or your passion or whatever it is to the world, to allow the world, the people, to be better. Your standard is elevating either your little circle or the wider society. And in some cases, you are actually directly helping others as well. But serving means you are giving of yourself to the world. It's not looking to see what you could get from the world, it's looking to see what you could give to the world. And taking care of your health, learning how to defend yourself and defend your family. Those are aspects of giving of yourself to the world. Because we tend to look at the direct ways in which we could give or the direct ways in which we could receive. But
Hmm.
that's not necessarily it. Like a lot of the things that we experience are very indirect. Like they don't happen to us directly. And we don't affect things directly all the time. A lot of the times it's indirectly. The things the thing that we do to one person could affect 4 or 5 different people later down.
Hmm.
Like giving somebody a bad drive when they are on a bad day, that person might cuss up the wrong person, and before you know it, some other thing happen.
Yeah.
You don't know.
It's sometimes it's an exponential effect, and we don't know.
Yeah, like these things, like it's like dominoes. It's like you do this to this one do this to this one do that. Like it's just a big mess after a while.
Correct.
So we have to realize, like Nick said it probably last year or year before, no man is an island unto himself. We are not independent. We never will be. We are interdependent. We are a social animal. We need each other to survive. So the best thing to do is to give to one another.
Hmm.
And we do that not only directly, like actually giving and being generous and so on and so forth. We do that by telling each other the truth. We do that by taking care of our health. We do that by learning to defend ourselves. We do that by being honorable, especially as men. Like we have to be honorable again. Like I like I said in the first episode back, I'm not going to criticize the men in our country or in the Caribbean or whatever. Because again, we have so much potential to be great, but it's just for us to see it.
Yeah. And there was another point that was made in the video, in the clip, where um, they said, "What you don't use, you will lose." So the more we practice all those things, is the more it will become second nature to us. Is the more it will become habit. Is the more that it will feel like, sorry, the more that we do those things, is the better it will be for the community, because the more often we do it, is the more often other people also benefit from it, the community,
Yeah.
and motivates them, and they in turn, was the it's not each one teach one, but there's this thing where um there's sometimes, I think it's in the US, where there's like a system, they pass on some goodwill. So if
Mm.
someone does
Like
something,
paying it forward,
they're paying
essentially.
it forward. That's it.
Paying it forward.
That is essentially what it is on a simpler um platform.
Yeah. Another saying, I hope I'm getting it right, but like this is the way I understand it, where they were saying a rising tide raises all ships.
Mm.
It's like think of yourself as that tide and the kind of impact that you could have on your family and on your community. Like you don't have to be no civil rights activist,
Mm.
You just have to like each one teach one, pay it forward, like Nick said, you know, give a young person a young guy advice in a neighborhood like who coming through. Now once they're willing to listen, like because they have to be willing to, they don't just give unsolicited advice, of course. Because
Yeah,
that don't make any sense.
correct.
Because just go in one ear and come out the next. But if somebody is interested in the thing that you're doing or interested in learning something or come to you for advice or something, like give them that. Like give them some of your time. Like you wouldn't believe how valuable that could be.
Yeah. And then The last point he had made was if every day, if you don't do the work, you're going backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Backwards. Because is comfort zone versus growth mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one hit home for me too. Because it's like given the situation that I was in last month,
Hmm.
it was it was hard to train, like I'm not even going to lie. Like I barely trained during that time. I'm now looking to train like I used to train from this week. But what I went through or what I had to deal with is not an excuse as to not to train, because it's not to say like I was doing it 24/7. It's not to
Mhm.
say that I had to handle my business 24/7. Like there were times that I was free and I chose not to do anything. And the work was on my mind.
Right. But is it that you you chose not to because you figured in your mind that you had been going through a certain level of stress or a certain level of work that you had already put in a different regard, and you just wanted to relax a bit and rest?
Yeah, but still I wouldn't say that should have been an excuse though. Like I understand what you're saying, eh?
It wouldn't be it's not an excuse because I mean
But
if you're using it like for something substantial as a rest, number rest is not, you know, is not bad. Is it?
rest isn't bad no.
Yeah,
But like a lot of the times, and like sometimes I get both sometimes where they would say, so you have to rest sometimes. You can't you can't be down on yourself all the time that you didn't train. Like you have, and I could understand where they're coming from,
mhm,
but it's just in the back of my mind, like a too long
yeah,
out. Uh, I'm not training enough. I'm looking out of shape. Now, people mightn't find I'm looking out of shape. But I know where I was,
correct,
and that is the place that I want to be. And the less I train is the further away from that place I am.
correct. The standard you want to get back to.
That standard,
Yeah,
yeah. So
and
I
and that's it, because going back to the point of rest, rest is not bad. But if you constantly want to rest and you end up in a comfort zone, then
mhm,
that's a problem. you
yeah,
know.
yeah, and a lot of the times, as men, we tend to allow ourselves to get into that comfort zone. But in our minds, was the hottest thing out.
But look how much fellas we know that have
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. In their mind, right? Beach ready. Beach ready.
Wow.
Carnival ready. Water party ready. Like in their mind, they have full six pack, guns are blazing, pecs on point.
Hmm.
But in reality, we looking
In reality, they have no shame.
no,
no
no,
shame.
yeah,
It's like that video we played the last episode. with
Yeah.
JP,
Yeah.
with reality and lying to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you
You
can't
had to
lie
be
to
honest.
yourself.
You had
You
to
gotta
be
be
honest.
honest with yourself. Like I know I getting a little chubs. It might not look like it, but I know where I was.
Yeah.
But there are some people who have twice or three times as much chubs as me. But in their mind, they're looking like a model.
Hmm.
And it's not about the looks, you know. You gotta understand. This is not about the looks, eh? For men, most of the times, when we let ourselves go, almost instantaneously it affects our health.
Hmm.
Almost instantaneously it affects our health. With the ladies, it not as drastic because they need the extra body fat. They need it. It's required. But for us, not as much. So when we allow ourselves to get to that point, we could do ourselves some serious damage
Yeah.
because there's so much the body could take. So you have to give yourself the platform to be able to be there. Like some of you guys, you're in your 20s, but you already have children. Like imagine because you're not taking care of yourself,
Hmm.
you end up with some serious ailment, and you may not be there for your children in the next 5 years.
Correct.
So just think about it from your point of view. Think about your children. Think about your wife if you have one.
Correct.
Like how would they make out if you're not here anymore?
Hmm. So
Like if you don't want to be honest with yourself for yourself, be honest with yourself for your kids.
correct. Because you need to be active. You need to have a certain level of activity and physical competence to raise young children.
Yep.
You know, when they want you to play with them, when they want you
Mm-hmm.
to do this with them, that with them,
Yep.
take them all over the place, lift them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. And if you can't do it, but a lot of I see with a lot of parents now, they like to make them go on the tablet to
yeah.
stop them from like that's a
Correct.
that's a big pet peeve of mine.
The tablet raising the children.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
a lot of the times people think that these children want to be on the tablet. No, a lot of the times they actually want to interact and spend time with their parents.
correct.
But you forcing the tablet on them because you want to do your own thing. Listen, if you made the choice to become a parent, because we all made a choice, like okay, there's some exceptions to the rule, of course. But the ones who made the choice to become parents, you can't make the choice to become a parent and then run away from being a parent.
The responsibility of it. Yeah. Hmm.
Like you have to part of being a parent is interacting with your child and actively raising your child. Not the
Correct.
tablet, not giving the tablet all the time so that you could go and watch whatever you want to watch or
Yeah.
talk to your friend or whatever.
You are responsible for helping bring a life into the world
And raising a proper
and
member
raising.
of society. Like come on.
Yeah.
Because the amount of people talk about they have mommy issues and daddy issues and I went through this as a child and I went through that as a child and we're hearing too much of that now. Like everybody have a issue now all of a sudden. Well not all of a sudden, but
Hmm.
like the generations coming, plenty of them have issues. And the reason for that is because the parent didn't think anything was wrong with allowing the tablet to raise the child or telling them to go and play in the corner or things like that.
Other people raising the children, or other
Yeah,
things
yeah,
raising the children, but
yeah.
they're not raising the children.
Imagine, yeah, imagine you want your you want your child to be brought up in a particular way with a particular set of values, but you're not doing it. But you sending your child to school with teachers who you assume to have the same values as you
And principles. Yeah.
and principles. And chances are they may not. Chances are a lot of the times they come into work, they went through something the day before, the night before, they're in a bad mood, they take it out on your child. Or they just don't like your child. Because
Yep.
there are occasions where teachers just don't like certain children for no reason.
Yeah.
Because
And
I know a
then
lot of people that went through it, they've experienced it. That this person just don't like me. They just don't like my face. Every time they see my face,
hmm,
their whole day gets sour.
yeah. And then apart from the teachers, the other students in the class that they interacting with come from different backgrounds as well.
Exactly.
So the influence is all around,
Hmm.
you know. Hmm.
So after they've gotten 8 hours or 6 hours of programming in the complete opposite way that you want them to be, you need to take some time to erase that programming and put back in yours.
Yeah. Because and there's not me criticizing, there's just stating the facts that there are some parents who basically say, don't do what I do, but as I say.
Yeah, no, that don't make sense.
No work. It's
That don't
not
make
going
sense.
to work.
That doesn't make sense. That's not how that's not how the world works. That's not how life is. Like
Yeah.
we are a copycat species. We do as each other does. That's that's just how it is.
You know, as you are now point, right? There's something you told me, um, and this coming back to the video as well. Something you would have mentioned to me a couple of years ago. Again, time flying, so I don't remember exactly.
Hmm.
But um, and it was more than once. You said, I think it was also based on a video that you would have sent me regarding animals. And animals are just the best version of themselves always.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't wait
I think that
for
was
some,
2 years ago. Yeah,
yeah, they don't wait for something special to happen. They always in the prime.
yeah, yeah. They're always the best self,
They always the
essentially.
best self. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can't question if a lion is a lion. The lion might just be sleeping,
Yeah.
but don't test his lionness.
He not lying sometimes.
He's not lying sometimes. He's lying all the time. But like for humans, like very few of us are human in the true sense. We might just be flesh bags for the most part.
Hmm.
But to be human is to master different parts of different aspects of who you are. Like you have to master your mind, you have to master your body, master your soul, spirit. You know, find your purpose, raise a good family, have real friendships, like not these superficial things that people tend to like because this person like to party and you like to party, that's a friend. No, But I've seen it happen many times. Like,
Oh
just
God.
because you like to party and he like to party, and you like to drink and he like to drink, that don't mean he's your friend. You would quicker find friends. Now, this is not guaranteed, but you'd quicker find friends in a martial arts school. You'd quicker find friends in a gym. You'd quicker find friends doing some active thing. You'd quicker find friends when you're trying to build your business. You might find somebody who trying to do the same thing, and you guys bounce ideas off of one another. That is where you find friendships.
The networking and the genuine friendships here
That's where you find genuine friendship. You're not going to find a genuine friend in a party.
in our body.
You wouldn't even find genuine friendships in a school. You might think you might find it in university. That's a big lie. I could tell you.
I mean,
I'm sure.
but
And
yeah,
huh? No, it mightn't be the case for everybody.
yeah, we're not
Like
general.
we're not generalizing at all, but I'm sure many of us have had the experience where we've worked in a group with someone or with people, got along real good in this group, real good, do the project, get the A or whatever. Everybody happy, high fives, boom, take. Next
I,
semester,
I definitely have to get to celebrate.
those same people
Yeah,
pass you like a full bus. Act like if they never met you before in their life.
yeah, it's true.
Because for them it was just a means to an end. For you it might have been something genuine, like you really was feeling this group, feeling the friendships and so on. But for them it was just a means to an end.
And again, that goes back to what I mentioned about people coming from different backgrounds, not just
Hmm.
in primary school, secondary school, but all levels. They wouldn't have
Hmm.
the same morals and principles.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. So at the end of it, we as men, especially the young men and the not so young men, we have to be intentional about the way we live our lives. Like, how many times have we said the word intention on this podcast?
hmm,
We have to be intentional about the way we live our lives.
and genuinely so, because I don't want to say there was a time not so long ago, I believe last year, that a lot of people was using the word intentional and wasn't intentional.
No,
So
I think too is because um, we don't realize how complex our brains are.
hmm,
Like we could create an entire world or entire reality and truly believe that that is how things are. You know, that is how insanely complex the brain is. We could strongly believe that in our minds we're doing the right thing all the time,
yeah,
and it takes some serious self mind control to realize, wait, I am selling my own self a dream.
a dream. Hmm,
Because like you mentioned, people would use the word intentional, and I'm so intentional. I'm always present. While 2 minutes before this was them, they're on
correct.
their phone, full scrolling through social media.
Yep,
So,
correct.
but 2 minutes later, I enjoy being present, and I love being intentional about Like you literally selling yourself a dream, but you think nothing is wrong with it and nobody's being affected by it or whatever. But that is not the case
Hmm.
because people realize, this person talking a lot about.
Yeah, because the sad thing which I've witnessed firsthand is that those same people who selling the silver dream, telling people that they need to be intentional too. But if you set it, if you telling somebody that you should be intentional or they should be intentional, and they don't know what that means, and they're looking at you for the example, then how that making sense? Because you're just gonna send the person into a want of a better phrase, a wild goose chase because they don't have any idea as to what that really is.
Yeah, and it comes back to what we were talking about with us being a copycat species. Like
Correct.
we tend to do the things that we see,
Hmm.
and we become the things that influence us. And if you're telling me that I need to be intentional, but when I meet you in public, you on your phone all the time, and you absent-minded,
Absent-minded. I'm talking about
and you like like how am I to take you seriously? And that's the same thing. That's the same thing with me. Like, and I'm sure you've experienced this too. Like with your art and with my training, you don't want to put yourself out there because you feel as though you're not giving of your best to put yourself out there.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing I feel like. Even though, okay, I'm a certified personal trainer and I have the credentials to be able to do it, there's imposter syndrome. Even though it's is 20 years of athletic experience and 10 years of martial arts and 5 years teaching martial arts and all of these things, and you being an artist all your life,
Yeah, you just
and
don't.
then some random person who just hears somebody talking about something or learn one technique in drawing or painting
A brushstroke.
and have a whole 500,000 subscriber YouTube page for art, or have a whole 500,000 subscriber YouTube page for fitness, have no certifications, have no history of um of team sports, individual sports at any level, but just started the gym probably a year or two ago, get a little bit of advice, and start a YouTube channel. And because they're confident in what they know,
Yeah, it happens all the time.
it happens all the time. Like you always have this feeling like you're not adequate enough. But we have to realize that, and I think too, that comes from, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I think that comes from the way a lot of us were raised too.
Yeah.
Because we, like, our parents are, uh, they're not business owners, they were employees. A lot of the times they were taught to be, like, not to stand out. No, you don't want to stand out. You don't want to, you don't want attention on you. You want to just, kind of stay in the shadows. Don't do too much. You don't want to,
Ruffle
and
feathers
you don't want to ruffle feathers.
and
And
make us.
yeah, but if we're being honest with ourselves, the only way to have success is to stand out. Really, if we're being honest, in order to really have success is to stand out. Because it might be standing out in a positive way or a negative way. Like you would think about it, like some people get success because they're yes people. They stand out in that sense. That's a negative way to stand out. But they get success because there's some people who need the ego fueled, so they need a yes man. So they get so because they are yes man, they will get success from that because this person have money and this person could help me get to where anything. So I go and be a yes man. Right? For want of a better phrase, a kiss and ass, essentially. But that is not the way you want to stand out. You want to stand out by being authentically you. You want to stand out by having your own opinions. People don't have to agree with everything that you say. The only advice I would give is once you're not hurting anybody, be yourself. Because you can't be yourself and you're hurting people. Like
True.
there has to be some kind of balance. Like yeah, you have to be yourself, yes, but you can't do it at the detriment of others.
Yeah. Hmm. Very true. Very true.
So standing out, yes, standing out brings success, but there has to be a limit to that as well.
Hmm.
So yeah. So I think I don't unless you have other things to talk about. I think I've said all that I needed to say, especially based on our video. Like, and we have so many different things to talk about in the coming days and weeks. But I think for now, I've said all that I needed to say.
Yeah, I think for me as well, we touched on all the points in the video, and we gave our own experiences on and our thoughts on those points. And I think is hopefully our viewers or audience will also align with what we said and apply that to their lives as well, in whatever beneficial ways they can.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
maybe you guys can also share with us some of your experiences if you would like in the comments,
yeah.
and
Definitely. If
we
you
look forward
guys,
to
if you
hearing
guys like what
seeing.
you, yeah, if you all like what you heard, if you all have some rebuttals, anything like that, feel free to leave your comments, um, give us your points of view, and yeah, let's get the conversation going.
We human beings as social beings all like stories. So feel free to share your experiences with us as well.
Definitely, definitely. So just a reminder again, everyone, we are on all of the major podcasting platforms: Google, Apple, and Spotify. We are on social media, well, on Instagram, definitely. So make sure and check us out. You'll see all of our socials in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed another episode. And we look forward to hopefully doing another episode next week.
We'll see you guys in the next one. So thanks again for joining us.
Yep, and take care.
Take care, guys.